I always thought I had a good read on people. It was my job, after all. I wasn't some clueless fool who walked through life with blinders on. I built my career on instincts, reading faces, dissecting lies, uncovering truths people wanted buried. But none of that prepared me for this. For years, I thought my wife, Lauren, was my partner in every sense of the word. We built a life together. 15 years of marriage, a house in a quiet neighborhood, a beautiful daughter, Emily, who was my world. I worked hard to give them everything, sacrificed. Late nights, long hours, endless stress, because that's what a man does for his family. And through it all, I thought Lauren had my back the same way I had hers. I was a fool. It started with a phone call. Emily's voice trembling, gasping like she couldn't get enough air. Dad! I. A sharp inhale, a choked sob. Oh my God, Dad, I found something. It's Mom. It's. Slow down, Em, I said, already feeling that sick churn in my gut. What's wrong? What happened? I took Mom's laptop because I needed to print something. I swear I wasn't snooping, but Dad, there's a folder, a hidden one. And I opened it and her breath hitched. You need to come home. Now. My knuckles went white on the steering wheel. What did you see? A silence. Then, in a small, shaking voice, she's cheating. Everything inside me froze. I barely remembered the drive home. My body moved on autopilot while my mind screamed through every memory, every moment that suddenly didn't make sense. The late nights, the secretive smiles at her phone, the way she'd stopped touching me like she used to. I burst through the front door. Emily stood there, laptop clutched to her chest like it might burn her. Her eyes were red, cheeks streaked with tears. She didn't say a word, just handed it to me. I took it, opened the folder, and there she was, my wife, with another man. Lauren wasn't just cheating, she was comfortable in it. The photos weren't rushed, stolen moments of guilt. They were intimate, passionate, smiling, laughing. She looked like a woman in love. I felt something crack inside me, and then I saw his face. I knew him, not just in passing, not some stranger, someone close. A buzzing filled my ears, my vision tunneled, my breath came short and sharp like I'd taken a hit to the ribs. I looked at Emily, my daughter, my little girl. We're leaving, I said. She nodded, still crying. I didn't shout, didn't scream, didn't break anything. I just packed. We took what we needed, clothes, documents, whatever cash I had on hand. It was rushed, but clean. No notes, no messages. Just gone. Before we left, I connected the laptop to the TV in the living room, set the worst photo, the one where she looked the happiest in his arms, full screen. And then we walked out the door. Lauren never called. Not that day, not the next, not in the weeks that followed. A part of me, one I hated, wanted her to. Wanted to hear her excuses, her begging, her shame, but silence, until a month later. I was sitting in a motel room scrolling mindlessly through my phone when a text popped up. Lauren, just her name on the screen made my pulse spike. I hesitated, then opened it. And when I read the words, my hair stood on end. Lauren was never the kind of woman who turned heads when she walked into a room. She wasn't the breathtaking, unattainable type you see in movies, the kind that men would write poetry about. She was normal. Brown hair, average height, a pretty enough face, but nothing extraordinary. And maybe that's why I fell for her. We met when we were both 22. I was fresh out of the military, trying to adjust to civilian life, and she was working as a bank teller. I had walked in to cash a check, and there she was, smiling at me with that polite, practiced warmth that bank tellers give to every customer. I don't even know why I noticed her, but I did. Maybe it was the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she spoke. Maybe it was how she seemed genuine in a world full of fake smiles. I asked her out on a whim. She said yes. We built a life together, brick by brick. There were no grand gestures, no whirlwind romance, just steady, consistent love, the kind that made you feel safe. And for a man like me who had spent too many nights in places where safety was a joke, that meant everything. We got married at 26, not a big wedding, just close friends, family, and a cheap honeymoon in a rented cabin by the lake. Then came Emily, my pride, my heart. When she was born, I remember holding her in my arms, this tiny red-faced little thing, and knowing that there was nothing I wouldn't do for her. I would kill for this child. I would die for her. For years, I worked myself to the bone to give them a good life. Late shifts, side gigs, working security jobs on weekends. I was always the provider, the protector. I put food on the table, paid the bills, fixed the broken sink when it leaked, checked the locks at night. I did my job. And Lauren? She was just there. She never had to work after Emily was born. She stayed home, took care of the house, did the things a wife was supposed to do. At least, I thought she did. Turns out she had plenty of other things keeping her busy. The night I got that text, my whole body tensed before I even read it. I need to talk to you. Please, it's important. A month, a whole month of nothing, and now she suddenly had something to say? I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the reply button. I should have ignored it. I should have thrown the phone across the room and walked away. But I didn't. Talk. A few minutes later, another text came through. Not like this. Face to face. Please, just once. No apology, no explanation, just please. I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. Every logical part of me screamed to block her number and move on. But there was that other part, the part that still wanted answers. So I made a mistake. I agreed. We met at a diner just off the highway, neutral ground. I chose the booth in the back, my back to the wall, habit. I was always a man who liked to see what was coming. Lauren walked in, and for a second I didn't recognize her. She looked worn, hollow, like she hadn't slept in weeks. She sat across from me, fingers twisting in her lap. Hi. I didn't respond, just watched her. She swallowed. You just left. I gave a humorless laugh. Yeah, funny how that works when your wife is screwing someone else. Her face crumpled, but I felt nothing. No pity, no sympathy. Why are we here, Lauren? My voice was flat. If you're looking for closure, you're not getting it. She flinched, but then she said something that made my blood run cold. He's missing. I went still. What? She licked her lips, hands shaking. The man in the pictures. He's been missing for weeks. No one knows where he is. I just stared at her, and then, slowly, a smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Good, she gasped. How can you say that? I leaned forward, my voice low and dangerous. Because, Lauren, if I ever see him again, I'll make sure he stays missing. She recoiled like I had slapped her, but the thing was, I meant every word. And as I looked at her, this woman who had betrayed me, I realized something. She wasn't afraid because of what I said. She was afraid because she thought I already did it. Lauren stared at me, her fingers gripping the edge of the table so tightly her knuckles turned white. She wanted to say something, but she hesitated, like she was afraid of the answer she might get. I leaned back in my seat, arms crossed. Go on, Lauren. Say whatever Bull's Raw excuse you've been rehearsing for the past month. Her eyes darted around, paranoid. She lowered her voice. I didn't just call you to talk about him. I need your help. I almost laughed in her face. My help? Are you out of your fucking mind? She swallowed hard. I made a mistake, okay? I fucked you up. I know that. But something's wrong. He's gone, and I don't think it's a coincidence. I clenched my jaw. You want me to feel sorry for you? No, she said quickly. Then softer. I need you to understand. And for some godforsaken reason, I gave her a chance to explain. Lauren wasn't crying. She wasn't begging for forgiveness. She was afraid, but not of me. Something else. She took a shaky breath. I met him a year ago. At first it was nothing, just talking. He was easy to be around, you know. He listened. He made me feel noticed. I didn't move, didn't blink. She wet her lips. You were always working, always tired. I felt like I was just part of the furniture, like I didn't matter. There it was, the classic excuse. I should have walked out right then. But something in her face stopped me. I didn't mean for it to happen, she whispered. But once it started, I couldn't stop. I shook my head in disgust. Who is he? She hesitated. I slammed my hand on the table, making her jump. Who is he? She swallowed hard, and then she said his name. And the world around me shifted. He wasn't just some random guy, he was my friend, someone I trusted. Ryan. We had history, years of it. I met him in the military. We served together, bled together. I saved his fucking life once, dragged his sorry Akari out of a firefight when everyone else left him for dead. And this is how he repaid me, by sneaking around with my wife behind my back. I gripped the edge of the table so hard I thought it might break. You had an affair with him? Lauren looked down ashamed. Yes. A storm raged inside me. I wanted to put my fist through the wall, through him. If he wasn't already missing, I would have made him disappear myself. Where is he, Lauren? My voice was low, dangerous. I don't know, she admitted. But I think someone took him. I frowned. What do you mean? She leaned in, lowering her voice. I think someone was watching us. I got weird calls, messages with no reply, and the night before he disappeared, someone sent me a picture of us together. She swallowed hard. I think whoever took him knows what we did. A cold feeling crept up my spine. This wasn't just an affair, it was something bigger. And suddenly, for the first time since she betrayed me, I was curious. Why the fuck are you telling me this? I asked. Her voice was small. Because I think I'm next. I studied her face, looking for any sign of manipulation, any trace of a lie. But this wasn't a trick. She was scared. For the first time, I considered the possibility that I wasn't the only one seeking revenge. Someone else wanted blood, and they were already one step ahead of me. Lauren's hands trembled as she reached into her purse, pulling out her phone. Look at this. She tapped the screen a few times, then turned it toward me. My stomach tightened. It was a photo of her, taken through a window, at night. She was in my old house, standing in the kitchen, completely unaware. The timestamp? 2 days ago. She swallowed. I didn't take this. Someone sent it to me. I stared at the image, my jaw tightening. Someone was watching her, tracking her, and she knew it. So let me get this straight, I said, voice dangerously calm. You cheated on me. You destroyed our family, and now you come running to me because someone's fuckmo with you? She flinched but nodded. My first instinct was to tell her to deal with it herself. Whatever hell she was going through, she deserved. But the name Ryan still burned in my head like a brand. Ryan, my friend, my brother in arms, a man I had trusted with my life, and now he was gone. I leaned forward. Tell me everything. Lauren let out a breath, rubbing her arms like she was cold. A few days before you left, Ryan started acting off. He was nervous all the time, checking over his shoulder. He told me someone was following him, but I thought he was being paranoid. I exhaled sharply. And you didn't think to tell me? She gave me a miserable look. I didn't know you knew him, okay? Not at first, and then it was too late. Too late. Those words sat heavy in the air. I looked at the photo again, the angle, the distance. Whoever took it wasn't just some jealous husband or a random stalker. This was professional. A cold, sinking feeling settled in my gut. Who else knew about you and Ryan? I asked. Lauren hesitated. I shot her a sharp look. Don't fuck all lie to me. Who else? She licked her lips. I think he owed someone money. I stilled. What kind of money? She hesitated again, and I could see the shame creeping into her face. Lauren. She exhaled shakily. Gambling. Ryan had debts. He told me it was under control, but then he started saying things that he needed to disappear, that someone would come after him if he didn't pay. She swallowed. Then one night he called me completely panicked. He said, "If anything happens to me, don't talk to anyone. Don't tell anyone we were together. Just forget me." And now he was gone. I leaned back, the pieces starting to form a picture I didn't like. Ryan had made enemies, dangerous ones, and now those enemies had turned their sights on her. I tapped my fingers against the table, thinking, if someone wanted revenge, Lauren was an easy target. She was the one left behind, the one they could reach. But why send her pictures? Why stalk her? Unless, "Have you told anyone else about this?" I asked. She shook her head quickly. I exhaled, my mind racing. "Where are you staying?" Her shoulders tensed. "Why?" "Because if these people are watching you, they already know. And if they wanted you dead, you'd be dead." I met her eyes. "They want something from you, Lauren, and you're too fucking stupid to figure out what." Her face paled. I checked my watch. It was late. If someone was tailing her, they were probably watching her right now. "I need to see your place," I said, already standing up. Lauren's eyes widened. "Wait, you're helping me?" I gave her a hard look. Don't fucking mistake this for forgiveness. Because this wasn't about her anymore. This was about me, and whoever the fuck thought they could play games with me and my family. They were about to find out exactly who the hell I was. Lauren drove us to her apartment in silence. It wasn't the same house we had shared for 15 years. She had moved into a small one-bedroom rental on the other side of town. A downgrade in every sense of the word. Good. She deserved it. As she pulled into the parking lot, I scanned the area. Dim streetlights, a few parked cars, a broken-down sedan with tinted windows, empty, but something about it set off alarm bells in my head. Someone had been watching this place. She hesitated before stepping out of the car. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" "No," I said flatly, pushing the door open. "But that hasn't stopped me before." Inside, the place was a mess. Papers scattered on the counter, takeout boxes on the table. Lauren had never been a neat freak, but she was never this sloppy. "Jesus," I muttered. "You living like this?" She ignored me and locked the door behind us. I haven't exactly been in the mood for house cleaning. I didn't care about her excuses. My eyes went straight to the curtains. Closed. Good. Then I checked the windows. Latched. The locks on the front door? Cheap, but functional. Still, something felt off. I turned to her. "Show me your phone." She hesitated, but then handed it over. I scrolled through her messages. The picture she had shown me at the diner was there, sent from an unknown number. But something else caught my eye. Another message, sent just 10 minutes ago. "Welcome home." My blood went cold. I turned sharply to Lauren. "Did you tell anyone we were coming here?" She looked confused. Number Y. I flipped the screen toward her, her face drained of color. I was already moving. I shut off the lights, motioned for her to be quiet. My instincts screamed that we weren't alone. The apartment had one way in and one way out. If someone was here, they were either inside already or waiting for us to make a mistake. I moved toward the bedroom first, checked the closet. Empty. Bathroom? Nothing. Then, a sound. A soft creak from the hall closet. Lauren sucked in a sharp breath. I put a hand up, silencing her. Slowly, carefully, I approached the door. I didn't hesitate. I yanked it open. Nothing. Empty shelves. A few coats. Lauren exhaled shakily. "Oh my God." But I wasn't convinced. Something still wasn't right. Then I saw it. A scuff mark on the wooden floor, like something had been dragged. I crouched, running my fingers along the back panel of the closet. The texture was different, thinner, hollow, a fucking false wall. I looked up at Lauren. Her face was tight with fear. "Move back," I ordered. She did. I pressed against the panel and it shifted. I yanked it open. Behind it, a crawl space, just big enough for a person to hide, and inside, a crumpled piece of paper and a phone. My stomach tightened. Lauren whispered, "What the hell is this?" I reached for the paper. It was old, creased from being folded and refolded. I opened it. It was a photo, a picture of me. Lauren gasped. I stared at it, my mind racing. It was old, at least a few years, taken from a distance. The background was blurred, but I recognized the jacket I was wearing. I had seen this before, because Ryan took this photo. I remembered the exact day. We had been out drinking, laughing about something. He had pulled out his phone and snapped the picture, joking that I looked like a man who'd seen some sawari. Why the fuck was it here? I picked up the phone from the crawl space. The screen was cracked, but it still had battery. A single message was displayed. "We're not done yet." The sender? Ryan. Lauren let out a strangled noise. That's not possible." I stared at the message, my pulse hammering. Ryan was dead. He had to be. So why the fuck was he still sending messages? Lauren was breathing hard beside me, one hand clamped over her mouth. The air in the apartment felt wrong. Too thick, too heavy, like something unseen was pressing down on us. I stared at the phone in my hand, my mind racing. The message was right there on the screen. "We're not done yet." Sent from Ryan's number. Ryan, the man who had betrayed me, the man who was supposed to be missing. But if he was gone, who the hell sent this? A cold shiver crept down my spine. Lauren swallowed hard. This has to be some kind of sick joke. I didn't answer. My brain was already dissecting the situation, looking for a logical answer. Spoofed number. Possible. Someone trying to fucking with her? Also possible. But that didn't explain the crawl space, didn't explain the picture of me hidden in the wall. I clenched my jaw, gripping the phone tighter. My eyes darted back to the closet. If someone had been hiding here, where were they now? Lauren's voice shook. "Do you think he's alive?" I turned to her. "If he is, then we have a bigger problem." Her face twisted in confusion. "What do you mean?" I exhaled sharply, rubbing a hand down my face. Ryan wasn't just some dumbass gambler who got in over his head. He knew how to disappear. Lauren frowned. "You think he faked all this?" I wasn't sure yet, but something wasn't adding up. I scrolled through the messages on the phone. Most were old, unreadable due to the cracked screen. But there was one more message, sent just minutes before we walked into the apartment. "You're too late." Lauren let out a shuddering breath. Then, bang! Something slammed against the front door. Lauren screamed. I moved on instinct, grabbing her and shoving her behind me. My heart was already hammering, adrenaline roaring through my veins. Footsteps, heavy, measured, right outside. I reached for the nearest weapon, an old metal flashlight sitting on the counter. Not ideal, but it'd do the job if it came to that. Lauren clung to my arm. "Oh my God! Oh my God!" I shot her a look. "Shut up." Another sound, the click of a lock. Not the front door, the back. My blood went cold. Someone else was already inside. I spun around just in time to see the shadow move. A man, tall, broad shoulders, a hood pulled low over his face, and in his hand, a knife. Lauren gasped, backing away. My grip on the flashlight tightened. The man didn't say a word. He just stood there, blocking the only other exit. Slowly, he lifted his head, and I finally saw his face. Ryan. My breath caught in my throat. It was impossible. Impossible. But there he was, pale, thin, his eyes sunken like he hadn't slept in weeks. He looked wrong, like something had broken inside him. Lauren whispered, "Ryan?" He smiled, a slow, eerie grin that made my skin crawl. Then he spoke. His voice was hoarse, raspy, like he hadn't used it in a long time. "You didn't think I'd leave you behind, did you?" Lauren screamed. And then everything exploded into chaos. Ryan lunged. I moved, fast. The flashlight swung up, connecting with his arm. The knife clattered to the ground. I grabbed him by the throat and slammed him into the wall. You fucking coward! His laugh sent a shiver down my spine. I waited for you, he rasped. Waited so long. I drove my fist into his ribs, hard. He let out a wheeze, but he was still smiling. Lauren was sobbing behind me, pressed against the counter. Ryan coughed, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. You don't get it, do you? His eyes, wild, fevered, empty, locked onto mine. I never left. I bared my teeth. What the fucks are you talking about? His grin widened. They let me go. A cold sensation ran down my spine. They let me go, he repeated, voice barely above a whisper, and they told me exactly what to do. Then, before I could react, he laughed and bit down hard on something in his mouth. Lauren screamed. Ryan convulsed. His body seized violently, his eyes rolling back. White foam bubbled from his lips, his limbs jerking uncontrollably. I took a step back, heart pounding. Lauren gasped. What is he? Ryan hit the floor, hard. His body spasmed for a few more seconds, then went still, dead. Just like that. I stared down at him, my breath coming fast. Poison. He must have hidden a capsule in his cheek, a failsafe. Lauren collapsed to the floor, sobbing, but I wasn't looking at Ryan anymore. I was looking at the phone in my hand. Because the screen had lit up again, one final message from Ryan's number. See you soon? I felt something dark and heavy settle in my chest, because Ryan wasn't working alone, and whatever was coming next, it wasn't over.